New York City. Just hearing the name brings up these images of, you know, constant movement, huge buildings, and just so many people packed together.
It's a lot to take in.
And when you're trying to really get a handle on a place this huge, you have to go deeper than just, the basic facts. You need to understand the systems that make it all work.
That's exactly what we're doing. Think of this as the blueprint for this city. We're getting past the surface to understand the geography, the structure, and what life is actually like for the, over 8 million people there.
Let's start with the absolute foundation, the land itself. It's on the Atlantic coast, southeastern part of New York State. But its relationship with the water is what's really key.
Oh, it dictates everything. If you look at the map, you'll see the city is built almost completely on islands.
Right.
And that simple fact creates this massive challenge for just getting around. It's why the city is defined by this incredible network of bridges and tunnels. They're all trying to stitch those separate pieces of land together.
And that connection isn't just about people moving, it's about money. That location, right at the mouth of the Hudson River where it empties into the Atlantic, that was its biggest advantage.
Precisely. It created this naturally deep, sheltered harbor. It's like nature designed it to be a center for trade. So over the centuries, that's what let it become, this massive global port. It wasn't an accident at all.
So all of this is packed into a pretty small area, really, about 300 square miles of land. And to manage that, the city is split up into 5 main districts, the boroughs.
Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and Staten Island. Yeah. And you really have to think of them as almost separate cities. It's not one single place in the way you might think of, say, Chicago.
Manhattan is the one everyone knows, of course. The postcard image with the skyscrapers, that long, thin island.
Yeah, that's the economic hub. But if you only focus on Manhattan, you miss most of the story.
And the geography of the others is often misunderstood. The Bronx, for instance, is the odd one out, isn't it?
It is. The Bronx is the only borough that's actually on the North American mainland. Everything else is on an island or part of one.
Speaking of which, Brooklyn and Queens are both on the western end of Long Island.
Right. Brooklyn is famous for its neighborhoods, its culture. It's a huge city in its own right.
And Queens is even bigger.
And land area, yeah.
Yep.
Queens is the biggest. It's incredibly spread out and maybe the most ethnically diverse place on the planet. And then way down south, you have Staten Island, connected by that giant Verrazano Narrows Bridge.
So why does the borough system matter today? Is it just naming, or do they have their own governments?
Not entirely separate governments, but they have political weight. They used to be separate cities before 1898. Now, while the mayor governs the whole city, each borough has what's called a borough president.
A borough president. What do they actually do?
They're basically advocates. They have a say in land use decisions. They manage some local budgets for things like parks. It means that issues in, say, Queens get a voice and don't just get drowned out by everything happening in Manhattan.
That makes sense. And that structure, that ambition, you can see it in the architecture. The skyline is like a story of competition.
It really is. Right now, the big one is One World Trade Center. It reaches that really symbolic height, 1776 feet.
And then there are the classics. The Empire State Building, which was once the tallest in the world, is still a huge symbol. But I think the Chrysler Building is just beautiful.
The Chrysler Building is fascinating. That shiny Art Deco spire wasn't just for looks. It was part of the race to be the tallest building back in the 1930s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually built it in secret inside the building, then pushed it up at the very last minute to steal the title. It just shows that constant pressure to be the biggest, the best.
You see that same energy down on the street, too. In Times Square, it's not just bright lights.
No, it's a machine for advertising. It's just this key intersection that monetizes eyeballs on a scale you barely see anywhere else. And then you have the total opposite, the Statue of Liberty out in the harbor, greeting people for over 100 years.
Which leads right into the history. The story really starts way before that, though.
It does. The original people there were the Lenape. Then in 1624, Dutch settlers showed up and founded New Amsterdam, right on the southern tip of Manhattan.
And the Dutch didn't last too long.
No. The British took over in 1664 and renamed it New York. It was a really important spot during the American Revolution. But what's amazing is how fast it became a commercial powerhouse right after.
And as it grew, it needed these huge engineering projects. I'm thinking of the Brooklyn Bridge.
The Brooklyn Bridge in 1883 was a total game changer. It wasn't just another bridge. It was one of the first big suspension bridges. It physically connected Manhattan and Brooklyn and proved they could build over these huge water barriers.
That new infrastructure then made the next big change possible: mass immigration through Ellis Island.
Oh, the scale was immense. Millions of people started their American lives right there. And that influx created the foundations for neighborhoods we still know today. And it cemented that cultural diversity that really defines the city.
Okay, so that history of density and speed leads right into modern daily life. And the first rule is you don't drive a car.
You really can't. It's just not practical for most people. The streets are too crowded. This is why you just have to learn the subway system. It's a survival skill.
And it's not just any subway. It's one of the biggest in the world. And this is key. It runs 24 hours a day.
That 24/7 operation is what allows the city's economy to run around the clock. You can get almost anywhere. But the thing visitors miss is the difference between local and express trains.
Oh, that's a huge distinction.
It is. A local train stops at every single station. An express train skips a bunch of them, so it's much faster for people commuting from farther out in Brooklyn or Queens. Getting on the wrong one can add a lot of time to your trip.
How does the subway even deal with all the water? Does it just tunnel super deep under the rivers?
That's exactly it. It's an incredible feat of engineering. The tunnels connecting the boroughs were dug deep under the riverbeds, often through solid rock. It's an old system, and it has problems, but it's amazing that it works at all.
And then above ground, you've got the classic yellow taxis everywhere and big train hubs like Grand Central.
And you can't forget the ferries. The Staten Island ferry isn't just for tourists. Thousands of commuters use it every day to get to Lower Manhattan. And it's free.
So all this movement means life is very fast-paced, and housing is a huge issue because of the limited space.
Exactly. Most people live vertically in apartment buildings. There just isn't much room for houses with yards, which makes housing costs incredibly high.
The food culture adapts to that speed, too. Lots of quick on-the-go options.
Street food is king. Hot dogs, pretzels. And New York pizza, with that thin crust, it's designed to be folded and eaten by the slice while you're walking. It's the perfect fast meal.
And for groceries, there's the bodega.
Right. The bodega is a cultural institution. These are small, local corner stores. They're everywhere, and they're often open super late or even 24 hours.
Let's shift to the bigger picture. New York is called a melting pot, and with over 8 million people, it really is.
It's a loud, vibrant reality. You can hear hundreds of different languages on the street. That history of immigration created these incredibly distinct neighborhoods.
Yeah, places like Chinatown or Little Italy, they're real cultural centers.
And that cultural energy helps drive the global economy. New York is a huge center for finance, media, international trade.
Wall Street is the famous one, with the stock exchanges that affect markets all over the world.
And beyond finance, you have a massive fashion industry, major TV networks, publishing houses, and of course, tourism is a gigantic part of the economy. Millions of people visit every year.
With all that concrete, it's easy to think there's no green space. But there is.
You have to have it.
Yeah.
It's an escape valve. Central Park is the famous 843 acres, designed and built right in the middle of Manhattan. It's a functional part of the city's infrastructure, not just a pretty park.
There are some really innovative ones, too, like the High Line.
Yeah, the High Line is so clever. It's the park they built on an old elevated railroad track.
Ah.
And then out in Queens, you have Flushing Meadows Corona Park, which hosted 2 World's Fairs.
The scale is just as big when you look at education. The public school system is the largest in the entire country.
And the resources are incredible. The New York Public Library is one of the biggest library systems in the world. You know, the main building with the 2 big stone lions out front.
Of course.
Plus, you have all these world-class universities and research centers. It's constantly drawing in new talent.
All right, let's wrap up with the climate and then sports.
Okay, so you get 4 very distinct seasons. Summers are usually really hot and humid, often over 85 degrees. Winters can be pretty cold, with a good amount of snow. The ocean helps keep it from getting too extreme, though.
And in terms of sports, the passion is just huge. You have 2 rival baseball teams, the Yankees and the Mets.
Right. And for basketball, the Knicks play at Madison Square Garden. The football teams, the Giants and Jets, represent the area, too.
And huge events like the U.S. Open for tennis out in Queens.
And the New York City Marathon, which is unique because the course actually runs through all 5 of the boroughs. It unites the whole city for a day.
So when you pull it all together, the island geography, the history of immigration and ambition, that 24/7 transit system.
It all combines to create this relentless environment. It's an incredibly vibrant place, but it demands a certain energy and a lot of organization from everyone who lives there.
It's that friction between the density and the ambition that creates its energy. So remember how that complex geography and the structure of the boroughs all work together. Good luck with your studies.